Now, America 250, San Diego celebrates, an ABC 10 News special.
This year, America is celebrating its 250th birthday. And here in the shadow of the USS Midway, we're paying tribute to the men and women who have sacrificed to protect the freedoms that define this country. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kimberly Hunt. San Diego is home to around 110,000 active duty military personnel and about 250,000 veterans, making us one of the largest military communities in the world. Nearly 8% of all active military in the U.S. live here, and that includes 17% of all Navy personnel and 30% of the Marine Corps. All those service members are spread across a number of local military bases, none more prominent than Camp Pendleton. It was established in 1942 to train Marines for service in World War II. 2 years later, it was declared a permanent installation. The influx of people caused the small village of Oceanside to double its population in just 5 years.
And so all of a sudden you've got all these workers first coming into Oceanside for a place to sleep, a place to eat.
When peacetime ended in 1950, Camp Pendleton expanded, and more than 200,000 Marines passed through on their way to Korea. Today, Camp Pendleton remains the North County's largest employer and one of the Defense Department's busiest installations. Of course, when you think of the military in San Diego, MCAS Miramar also comes to mind. ABC 10 News reporter Ryan Hill looks at how the local landmark has done a lot of changing over the last 100+ years.
From fighter jets to cargo planes, the roar of engines can be heard from Marine Corps Air Station Miramar.
Marine Corps has held Marine Corps Air Station Miramar since 1997.
The timeline of this tarmac goes back before 97, way back.
So the ground we're standing on really harkens back to 1917 with the establishment of Camp Kearney. Camp Kearney was established 1917 by the Army to get GIs ready for World War I. Back in 1917, it was horses and mules that dominated the landscape.
Colonel Eric Herman is the commanding officer of MCS Miramar.
But in 1947, the Navy came in and took it over, and it became NAS, Naval Air Station Miramar. It later became known as Fighter Town, USA. This is one of the master jet bases for the United States Navy, and for many years, it was the home of Top Gun.
After the need for speed was felt, the Marines moved in 28 years ago, and has since become the home of the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing Unit.
We've got fighter jets, both the 5th generation F-35. We've got the FA-18 Hornet. We've got KC-130s. We've got the CH-53, and we've got the MV-22.
MCAS Miramar is home to some fairly iconic squadrons like the Red Devils and the Black Knights.
They're the first C Squadron, or aircraft carrier-capable F-35 Marine Corps squadron. And they're the first F-35 C Squadron that actually has some combat sorties against the Houthis on their most recent cruise. They got home last year.
The base is home to more than 11,000 active duty Marines, a place San Diego is always faithful and grateful to have.
Having this air station, as busy as it is, and the talented Marines and sailors that work here and pushing hard every single day, it's incredibly gratifying. My hope is that this air station continues to be the premier air station in the Marine Corps and the DoD.
Ryan Hill, ABC 10 News.
All Marine recruits enlisted west of the Mississippi River train at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot in San Diego. It's the start of a 13-week boot camp. ABC 10 News reporter Yasmin Ludi gives us a rare tour inside the base.
I'm standing in what's called the Thunderdome here at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot in San Diego. This is where recruits test their courage. For America's 250th birthday, I'm giving you an exclusive tour of where civilians take their first steps in becoming part of America's finest fighting force.
Sit up straight and look at me!
All men and women enlisted west of the Mississippi will train at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot.
We're now aboard Marine Corps Recruit Depot in San Diego.
And a recruit's journey starts right here.
buses will come around when they come aboard the depot. They'll drive through here and they'll stop at this curb.
These are the yellow footprints. A recruit's first night at MCRD, and a night many never forget.
And they'll run, it gets chaotic, but when they do, the heels are together, feet at a wide 45. That is one of the first things for the center position of attention.
Staff Sergeant David Plummer says this is where they learned the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
You will not bring discredit upon yourself or to the Marine Corps, you understand? Yes, sir!
Basically, the law for the military.
They're going to get told to go out, one column at a time, through here, take a left, and then they're going to be on their way to the contraband room.
This room is where they pick up pieces of their new life, leaving behind their personal items and anything that's considered contraband.
This is where all the recruits will get their hair chopped off, with the exception of female.
With a fresh buzz cut and pieces of their old life left behind,
Stop! Running! Power!
a recruit embarks on a 13-week boot camp, the longest training out of all military branches.
We demand the best product. We're the front line for America's safety. So having the ability to respond under orders in a very stressful environment it's key to life or death.
Learning to respond under stress happens on the obstacle course.
It all starts with themselves. If they believe they can do it, then they can do it. And this is one of the key places it happens.
Staff Sergeant Plummer walked me through the squad bay where the Marines sleep at night, where they learn to be tidy and organized.
This is technically their permanent house.
From learning to respond to commands,
All you hold your hands up like this.
to learning to march.
Left, right,
The last stop on a recruit's journey is the museum.
This is San Diego on VE Day, and this is what the base looked like during World War II.
Leonard Howard is a retired lieutenant colonel. After serving 31 years in the Corps, he's now a docent, teaching the next generation.
We bring them here to infuse in them and show them the history of the Corps. That is so very important.
Howard says it's a reminder of what recruits are expected to live up to and to take pride knowing their contribution is why America is able to celebrate 250 years. Yasmin Ludi, ABC 10 News.
We're also home to the second largest surface ship naval base in the world. Naval Base San Diego is the home port of the United States Pacific Fleet, consisting of more than 50 ships. The base is also a place of great joy throughout the year as sailors return home from deployment and are reunited with their families. For more than 70 years, the Naval Training Center was located at what is now Liberty Station. It's now a place where people eat and shop, but Yasmin Ludi looks at the pieces of Navy history that are still there.
Wherever you go at Liberty Station, whether it's to pick up a bouquet of flowers or grab a cup of coffee, chances are you're standing in the middle of history.
This base, NTC, was established in 1923, so it's over 100 years old.
Liberty Station was once a 600-acre naval training center. For more than 70 years, it helped train and shape America's sailors. In the 1990s, the Navy decided to downsize.
This location has been used and has seen over 3 million people come through. And they would all have been trained here to then be able to defend our country.
That's Lori Albrecht. She knows everything there is to know about Liberty Station's history, including this ship.
So the reason this ship is so unique is the fact that it's never hit the water.
The USS Recruit is one of the many features showcasing our naval history here at the former Naval Training Center site. And because the ship never actually sailed, recruits who passed through here nicknamed it the USS Never Sail.
And these are pictorial shots going through with the base of it just being concrete and rebar. You can see the areas being built up. This is harbor.
Albert tells me while some bases have been taken over by government agencies after closing, This land was leased back to the city. Parts of the base were designated as historic and 49 buildings were preserved.
The building that the Rock Church is in was used for building bombs.
Albrecht calls the former training center a unicorn.
Because it was kept as it was developed. So you've got buildings that are over 100 years old, and they're used for purposes today. So your Liberty Public Market was the mess hall.
Your wicked hot fries? While the station's most notable claim to fame is the movie Top Gun being filmed here on Roosevelt and historic Decatur, Albert says what is now the Lot Movie Theater used to bring some heavy hitters in the 40s and 50s.
You would have had Bob Hope. You would have had people that were really well known during that period of time come and entertain the troops.
What was once a beacon of military strength now lives on as a symbol of San Diego's past transitioned into its future.
You can visit all the historic spots. You can combine that love of food, love of shopping with also your history.
And Liberty Station is the home of an incredible art installation timed to the celebration of our country's anniversary. The Guardian Wings of Sacrifice was created from 2,500 military dog tags. It was made by veteran and artist Joe Pisano. He explained the very meaningful process behind the piece.
2,500 dog tags. The wings are made with about 1,000. On each wing, there's 11 simulated bullet holes. And 11/11 is Armistice Day, which we now know is Veterans Day. But 11/11, add them together, that's 22. 22 is the daily suicide rate of our veterans. So this becomes a suicide awareness and prevention piece. And then the outside are blink dog tags, which allows veterans and families that have veterans to pick a dog tag, and I emboss their information on it, and they become part of the art.
The artwork is on display at Liberty Station's Command Center. Our 250th celebration is just getting started. Up next, a 105-year-old veteran talks about how she broke barriers for women. This year, we lost a true standout of the greatest generation. Ella Darby wasn't content to watch as the men went off to fight World War II, so she enlisted in the military. Ella lived to 105 years old, and our Marie Cornell had the privilege of meeting her and sharing her remarkable story.
You know, I love America. I'm glad that I was raised an American. And I love to see the flags flying. I am very dedicated to them.
Ella Darby has always been proud of her country. Even as a little girl growing up in Natick, Massachusetts, the military has always had a special place in her heart.
I come from a Navy family. My dad was in the service. My uncle was a commander on a base.
Which led her to making a life-changing decision.
All the boys were gone in the service, and it was very dull. And so I said to my mom one day, I think I'd like to join the Navy. And she said, if I were you, I would do the same thing.
Wow.
So that's what I did. And off I went.
Joined more than 350,000 other women who enlisted in the military during World War II under the WWII program, which allowed women to serve in non-combat roles in the military. She was assigned to boot camp in New York. She had her heart set on California after basic training, but the Navy had other plans.
We landed in Oklahoma, and that's where I did my service. I was a storekeeper, and that was in an office, you know. And I was in there with all these men. It was fun.
What made it so fun?
The men.
Ella tells me she wasn't treated any differently compared to men, but adds it was helpful to have other women there, like her friend Doris, as they navigated this brand new journey together.
We were treated really well, and I'm so happy I did it.
Her time in the military did lead her to her future husband, who was serving as a mechanic in the Navy.
I would say it was love at first sight. I had to take a report over to the main office every day, every morning at a certain time. And every time I went, there was this man sitting on a porch, and he watched me, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and daily we got a little closer.
The two would get married and got stationed in California. That would be the end of Ella's military career.
When I went in, I had to sign a paper saying I wouldn't get married. I got out of the service because I wanted to make sure I was with him all the time.
But that was the beginning of her job as a military wife, taking care of everything at home while her husband was serving. Fast forward to several decades later, where Ella has added to her titles as a mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother.
Oh, I'm so happy. I had a wonderful family, and they're still very special.
And as our nation celebrates its 250th anniversary, Ella is crossing her own milestone as she celebrated her 105th birthday, where she also reflected on her military service, from her dress, which was similar to the uniform she wore, to the patriotic music she danced to. And not far from her mind, the current service members who are now serving our country just as she did.
Oh, I love them. I'm proud of them. And they're doing their duty, and they probably enjoy it too.
Marie Cornell, ABC 10 News.
In April, an exhibit opened here on the Midway highlighting the efforts of 3 other women who served in World War II. ABC 10 News reporter Jane Kim looks at the legacy of the real-life Rosie the Riveters.
Making it more lethal and more resilient. The diverse contributions during World War II laid the groundwork for more inclusive armed forces.
The USS Midway shining a spotlight on Ina Reynolds Slaughter, Roberta Randy Tidmore, and Jenny Guarena, all Rosie the Riveters who served in World War II. The Rosies are 100 years old or older. Rosie Roberta calling attention to the courage of the greatest generation during World War II.
I think it's wonderful that the Midway has done this to honor the Rosies, because there were a lot of Rosies in those days, and your moms and dads probably helped.
In April, the USS Midway opened a new exhibit on the ship called Women's Contributions to the War Effort, honoring achievements made during the Second World War. Rosie Ina ecstatic about the launch.
It's so wonderful, and the younger generation can find out what the older generation went through.
Like the others, Rosie Jenny has many stories. Jenny has dementia and may struggle to talk, but her family eager to share about her life's accomplishments.
She tells me they keep calling me Rosie the Riveter. I was Jenny the Riveter. I said, yeah, you were, Mom, you were.
At the USS Midway, Jane Kim, ABC 10 News.
We see them in the movies, but what does it really take to become a Top Gun fighter pilot? You'll meet one who went from yoga instructor to elite aviator next. Some of the country's most elite fighter pilots fly over our heads here in San Diego. From dogfights to crushing G-forces, this premier class of pilots fly at Mach speed into danger to protect the homeland. I joined a member of this military jet set representing the next generation of Top Guns. Strike fighting training tests the skills of U.S. Navy and Marine Corps pilots. A 6-month competition in the sky that pushes physical endurance and mental focus to extremes, requires split-second decision-making, crushing G-forces, and calm under extreme stress.
First up is Steph Harris, who's been impressive in early training.
Breaking out pattern.
A fight to earn the coveted wings of gold and eventually join the fraternity of the finest war fighters.
I did something that was very difficult and that I considered quitting at times because it was so difficult.
Marine Captain Steph Harris continues her training at Fightertown, USA, right here at MCAS Miramar in San Diego, one of a handful of pilots featured in a Nat Geo docuseries, Top Guns, The Next Generation.
Emirates Barbane heading 143.
She took me out to the tarmac where her combat fighter jet, the F-18 Hornet, was waiting. Harris tells me this bird is tried and true.
It's a war machine.
It is a war machine. Getting the job done in every major U.S. and Allied conflict since 1986.
You're in a very hard machine. It's made of metal. Everything around you is metal. You're pushing your body to its physical limits, and the machine can hang on. You know, and it's training the person to hang on.
A connection and dependence she describes as both difficult and amazing.
Whether that's flying formation or doing an air-to-ground training mission or something air-to-air, there's a lot to manage up there.
That's what we're looking for.
The heart-pounding aerial cinematography in Top Guns, The Next Generation, was captured by Kevin LaRosa.
This is the Airbus H-125, probably my favorite helicopter to fly in the world.
Stunt pilot, aerial coordinator, and co-owner of X Brand, Hollywood's go-to aviation cinematography company behind blockbusters such as Top Gun Maverick and F1.
You can step on the step and then just throw your leg over.
Top Guns, The Next Generation, required unprecedented access to military training from the Navy and Department of Defense.
Welcome to my office.
And for LaRosa, the chance to take the audience on the exact same thrill ride of a Hollywood movie, except this time it was real.
The whole idea here is I'm trying to get the audience to be right there, make it feel like that afterburners right in your face sometimes.
Capturing loud, powerful jets requires more than helicopters. LaRosa's team films the energy and speed with jets and mounted cameras in the cockpit and on the ground.
If I'm flying our famous Cinejet that we built for Top Gun Maverick, and I'm right next to somebody doing 350 knots, it's just sitting there in frame. So sometimes we need to put cameras on mountaintops to get those really fast blow-bys, or use a camera helicopter. So it's about mixing all these assets together to help tell the perfect story.
LaRosa says he and his director of photography almost speak their own language in a well-orchestrated circus.
I'm the voice on the radio that's kind of telling the other aviators what to do. You know, that looked great, that's a cut, back to 1, I need you to do it again, 10 knots faster, more right bank. So they're listening to my voice and then flying their aircraft according to what they see.
LaRosa's father and grandfather served in the military. He was keenly aware while shooting the real training in Top Guns, The Next Generation. Stakes were high. Each pilot was under extreme pressure. Lives and careers were at risk. And only the premier pilots, such as Captain Steph Harris, would make it through and be pinned with the gold wings.
I think that freedom is worth fighting for. Our Constitution is worth fighting for. This dream is worth fighting for.
She's an incredible aviator, they all are. To go through the type of rigorous training, stress that they have to go through over and over and over again, I mean, it really tears you down before it builds you back up. But I think that's where people become their best. And she's a testament to that.
So to have finally gotten my wings is a tremendous sense of accomplishment and pride, for sure.
Top Guns, The Next Generation is streaming on Hulu. Every year, San Diego war veterans visit the memorials in their honor in Washington, D.C. Up next, we'll look at the moving moments from this past May's honor flight. In May, we chronicled the San Diego veterans as they took their honor flight. The trip to Washington, D.C. allows the veterans to visit the memorials built in their honor. ABC 10 News reporter Danny Miskell was on the flight as the veterans were surprised with some touching letters.
Ladies and gentlemen, honor flight honored guests, it's time for mail call. Please bring out the mail.
It's the first of many surprises
Gotta be kidding me.
on their trip to Washington, D.C.
So we have mail call for our wonderful veterans.
11,000 letters.
These are great.
For these heroes. One by one, nearly 100 veterans were handed a stack of envelopes, letters from strangers across the country.
6 years old. So far, this is my favorite.
The letters are filled with words of gratitude.
Back in the day, there's more mail than I ever got because we didn't get any.
For many, including Rick Harvey, it's overwhelming.
Thank you for your service.
Mail call is a tradition dating back to World War I, when letters from home lifted morale on the front lines.
I get mail from my wife.
For Navy veteran Robert Pitchford, he remembers what it felt like to receive mail while serving in Vietnam.
Oh, yeah, I was very excited just to find out what was going on at home. It's good to get mail and just know that you had somebody at home that was caring for you.
Tears and smiles.
This is incredible.
Then another surprise.
Letters from home.
Mail from family.
I'm so inspired by a letter from my son.
And mail from friends.
Looking back at our 30 years of friendship, Larry, I see that the same selfless devotion.
Sons and daughters attending this honor flight trip as guardians listened as their parents read their letters out loud.
Love your first grandchild. It's a great way to remind her how courageous and how wonderful she truly is.
Because even if it's been decades since their service,
I just seen his response. It melts me.
Their sacrifice on the battlefield or at sea is still not forgotten.
My dad, my hero.
For some, the honor flight brought up emotional and difficult memories. For others, it was lighter, filled with joy, reflection, and the chance to share stories with family by their side. Danny introduces us to two veterans from two different wars as they looked back on their service with pride, humor, and perspective.
On this round of Honor Flight San Diego, there's only one World War II veteran. I introduced you recently to Captain Bill Martin because he served in all three wars. And being here at the World War II Memorial brings back memories of when his service all began.
Bill, thank you for your service. Welcome to your memorial.
Captain Bill Martin rolled up to the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. He was immediately treated like a celebrity.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Tourists stopped him constantly, asking for photos, shaking his hand, thanking him for his service.
It's been kind of fun.
His daughter Betsy watched as it all unfolded.
I wasn't sure how much he would enjoy it, but he seems to have really taken to it. And I think he deserves the recognition.
But Captain Martin doesn't exactly want all the attention.
It's a little embarrassing because I didn't do anything special.
A humble take from a Navy captain who worked in cryptology at the end of World War II. Still, he takes in the moment.
It's very impressive. It brings back memories. Good memories.
While Captain Martin reflected on serving in this war, he also served in the next war.
The Korean War is sometimes known as the Forgotten War. But for one Korean War veteran that I spoke with, his memories haven't faded, and neither has the meaning behind his service.
I was in field artillery.
An Army veteran on this honor flight remembered his time serving in the Korean War.
I enlisted in 1951, discharged in 1953.
Richard Fessenden says he was stationed in the Iron Triangle. It's the northern part of Korea. Fessenden says seeing the statues and ponchos instantly took him back to Korea's brutal monsoon season.
And I saw them wearing their ponchos the first week that I was in Korea. And in 24 hours, we received about 11 inches of rain. And it was, nobody could fight. That was the good part.
The Korean War began after North Korea invaded South Korea in 1950. It ended with a ceasefire in 1953. Fessenden was in college when this all happened. Now it's been 73 years. He stares into the memorial's reflective wall, etched with the faces of more than 2,400 soldiers. And he remembers why he enlisted and why he believed it was a cause worth fighting for.
And I felt it my duty to join. What was in Korea at the time was wrong, and I felt that I should contribute to righting what was wrong.
Of course, it wasn't just the men who took that trip of a lifetime to Washington, D.C. Danny also caught up with the women who healed the wounded and broke barriers.
There are 5 women here from San Diego visiting the Military Women's Memorial. Most of them served as either nurses in the Navy or in the Army. And they tell me that being here brings them back to those years of service.
All right, ladies, smile. This is your day.
Just outside Arlington National Cemetery is the Military Women's Memorial. Inside, the sweeping arc becomes a hall of honor.
It was just inspiring seeing women who went where no one had gone before. Fearlessly.
Retired Navy nurse and captain Barbara Anderson makes her way around.
It made me proud to have been in the military.
It makes you feel very proud to be part of an organization like women.
Retired Navy nurse DJ Lavoie proudly wears her light blue garrison cap.
I still use my bandage scissors.
To honor the 6 years she served in Guam, tending to wounded air evacs from Vietnam.
I was proud to take care of our service people and their families.
At one Navy exhibit,
right there.
Diana Dorsha sees a familiar uniform, like the one she wore. She's holding a black and white photo of when she met her husband.
Your mommy and daddy, right?
That's when she decided her time serving as a radioman, deciphering Morse code, was done. The Military Women's Memorial is the only major national memorial dedicated to all the women who served in the U.S. military. Yet its database contains records of fewer than 10% of the estimated 3 million women who served since the American Revolution. Because of this underreported history,
Congratulations, ladies.
Honor Flight San Diego prepared a special surprise, presenting certificates highlighting the women's service.
How old were you in that picture?
Mid-20s.
But more importantly, inducting them into the Military Women's Memorial database. The records are a symbol.
Oh, it was an experience that I'll probably never forget.
Navy veteran Shirley Farrell shares what it means to her.
It means a legacy that we've left for somebody to follow. And I feel that I maybe did make a difference at that time.
The impact does not go unnoticed. Retired Coast Guard Lieutenant Commander Holly Schaffner says she'll never forget how these women paved the way.
I will never forget the grit and determination to get us where we are today.
In Washington, D.C., Danny Miskell, ABC 10 News.
Telling the story of World War II veterans through their letters home. Up next, how the events of 80 years ago were brought to life like never before. Last September, the USS Midway and San Diego State pulled World War II-era letters out of the archives for dramatic readings. As ABC 10 News anchor Jared Aaron shows us, it brought the events of 80 years ago to life like never before.
Dear Doc.
Dear Doc.
Dear Doc. Two of the most iconic words in San Diego State's 128-year history.
It's hard to make words jump off a page, come alive, inspire emotion. But on board the USS Midway, the words of San Diego State's World War II heroes soared.
We bombed 2 aircraft factories and some warehouses.
As part of the ship's 80th birthday, a group of actors staged dramatic readings of letters, all collected by Dr. Lauren Post.
This is the most important collection in our archives.
During the war, 3,500 Aztec students, faculty, and staff served in the military.
This is an astounding number when you consider that the institution only had 2,000 students in 1941.
Dr. Post asked all of them to write him so the folks back home would know what the Aztecs were doing for the war.
I was shelled, strafed, and swiped at, and generally wore out the knees of my GI pants diving into ditches.
He got thousands of letters back and published them in a newsletter sent to the entire Aztec family. It kept the community connected.
I receive the State College newsletter monthly and look forward to its arrival. Believe me, that commendable little publication has made many an ex-stater's heart warm.
80 years later, those words came back to life.
Football season must be just about over now. Thursday night is the turkey trot, and soon the Christmas formals will be starting. Seems a long, long way from here.
A way to honor the collection and the men and women who wrote each letter. It's not the first time these letters have come out of the archives.
The letters are very compelling.
In 2018, Mesa College professor Lisa Shapiro wrote a book about them. Back then, she told me the newsletter helped Dr. Post fulfill a promise he made to remember the Aztecs at war.
By taking their words and sending them back out and showing them that they weren't forgotten, this one professor made such an incredible difference in the lives of his students.
Now,
just a line or two to let you know that I am now somewhere in North Africa. No fooling.
They come to life again.
I have been somewhere in something for so long that when I get back home, I think I'll use somewhere in San Diego as my permanent address.
Finding a new audience and still helping Doc keep Aztecs connected.
Well, Doc, try and write again soon.
Before signing off.
Wally McAnulty.
At the Midway.
Sincerely, Wendell R. Lipscomb.
Jared Aarons.
Corporal R.A. Robert Wade.
ABC 10 News.
Life in the military can take all forms. Up next, what it's really like to serve on a submarine. Serving in the military can take on many forms, including spending most of your time deep underwater. Our Danny Miskell took a rare glimpse into the life of a Navy sailor inside a submarine.
Home ports may change. Leaders may change. One thing that remains the same. The sound of that bell announces the arrival of a commander. When we recorded this, John C. Witt was the commander, and the USS Annapolis was home-ported here in San Diego. At that time in 2018, he was in charge of the roughly 150 sailors who served aboard the submarine, one of several stationed at Naval Base Point Loma. He was also our guide on this day, as we got a closer look at what's below the surface and met some of the people who called this boat home for months at a time.
Submarining takes a lot of mental toughness, and these guys will work long hours, but they'll do what it takes to get the mission done.
As you can imagine, space is limited here. Nearly every inch is utilized, especially in the command area. Once underwater, it's the instruments that are crucial to navigation, especially sonar.
This is where we take in sound data from the environment and try and correlate that to a specific ship that's out there.
That's not to say the crew doesn't ever use their eyes. The periscope is still something the submarine crew uses regularly.
We may want to look at what other ships are doing, or we may want to try and observe other Navy's activities, stuff like that.
Everyone on board has a specialized skill, but because of the isolation that comes with being underwater for long periods of time, everyone has to take on multiple roles. A submarine sailor's goal is to earn their dolphins.
And we have all decided that he has what it takes, and we are confident in putting our trust in him to do the right thing when no one else is around.
While no one else might be close by outside the sub, inside, privacy is limited.
This 3-rack setup is very typical. So all our berthing is based on this kind of 3-high.
And I missed the beginning. How many people can fit in here?
This is 9 man. I guess, and we have a space on the next deck called 21 man. Guess how many people can fit there? 21.
When it's time to eat, the culinary specialists use the limited supply of ingredients to make every meal and also bake pretty often.
We don't carry a lot of pre-made bread because it takes up too much room, so a lot of our bread is made fresh, a lot of our cookies are made fresh, so it's pretty good.
Waiting to eat lunch for submarine sailors who tell me it's really the simple things you miss when you're underwater for so long.
It's actually just fresh air.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely fresh air. And
you forget what fresh air smells like until you've been away from it, and then you kind of get that first breeze, and you're like, oh, wow.
But also say they've grown incredibly close over the years.
The crew is what keeps everything going.
What I'm most proud of with the crew is they really embrace that, and you'll see that they're some of the hardest working guys around.
Danny Miskell, ABC 10 News.
This has been a year to remember for a hero from the Korean War. Up next, the honors heaped on 101-year-old Royce Williams, including one from the president. As America celebrates its 250th year, San Diego and the nation are celebrating a legend from Escondido. 101-year-old Royce Williams took on 7 Soviet MiGs by himself during the Korean War. Our Jane Kim was there in March when he had a day named in his honor.
Jets flying over the USS Midway as 100-year-old Royce Williams looks on. An Escondido native honored Saturday, March 21st, a day that will now be known as Captain Royce Williams Day in San Diego.
I want to tell you, I'm not here just because I did it by myself. I've had so many wonderful people dedicating hard efforts, going to unbelievable effort and use of their time on my behalf.
In late February, he was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor at the President's State of the Union. ABC 10 News also previously spoke with Williams about his 1952 battle during the Korean War, where he faced 7 Soviet pilots alone.
But I could see clearly, because of their contrails, that there were 7. And as they flew over me, I could see that they were MiG-15s, a superior fighter airplane.
He shot down 4 of them before returning to his aircraft carrier. Saturday, a ceremony paying tribute to Royce for his bravery and going beyond the call of duty for his nation, where Mayor Todd Gloria awarded Williams with his honorary day.
I am proclaiming today, March 21st, to be Captain Royce Williams Day throughout the city of San Diego in recognition of all that you've done for us, sir.
An incredible legacy for a man who sacrificed so much for his country. Jane Kim, ABC 10 News.
Thank you for joining us for this San Diego celebration of our nation's 250th anniversary. We leave you with veterans from wars dating back to World War II, explaining what their service and America means to them.
The old saying, truth, justice, and the American way, they ought to all go together.
I'm always a Marine, and a Marine is always a Marine, never changes.
It's like a huge brotherhood. You know, when you serve with these people for even 2 or 3 years at a time, you're making a close-knit companionship with these people.
It's something to be very proud of, to be an American and to be able to serve the military the way that I did.
I've been to Africa and Europe and Asia and the Middle East and, multiple countries, and there's no place that matches this.
The reason I served is because I believe deeply in the Constitution and the government that is outlined in the Constitution.
Thank you for watching America 250, San Diego Celebrates, an ABC 10 News special.